Welcome everybody back to the Spinner Rack. Again, we're doing another review today. We're talking about...
We're doing a reaction. This is our first look at the Picard trailer. CBS is giving us Star Trek Discovery. They're giving us these small bits of promo stuff, and now they're giving us Picard.
Picard. I mean,
Jean-Luc Picard.
What can you say about Jean-Luc? All right. So basically, what this basically tells me, CBS is desperate for cash. They throw
they're not.
tens of $millions at Discovery, and they're like, well, this isn't really working as well.
That's not what it is.
And
that's
let's try.
He's lying.
Let's do a Picard show because we know he's real popular. So let's go.
That's not the case. They've gone season 3 of Discovery already before second season finished.
You can double down on your mistake.
That's not double. That's tripling down.
Well, tripling down.
You're totally logic that's coming from this man is totally off.
Look, all I'm gonna say, the ratings have not been spectacular.
The ratings have been hot.
Not spectacular.
Not true. He's making up stuff.
He
has no basis.
We can look for the basis.
We can look. He'll be wrong. The thing is that he thinks that the most successful Star Trek movie is The Voyage Home.
No,
and he
Khan.
cannot. No.
Movie.
Voyage Home is more successful than Khan.
I can't understand that.
How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet?
I'm not gonna bet with you.
There we go. There we go. We're having a reaction video to Picard.
So it was like in the south of France, vineyard.
15 years ago, today,
Jean-Luc.
you led us out of the darkness. You commanded the greatest rescue armada in history. Then,
You left.
the unimaginable.
What'd you do? You left us. You made a vineyard.
What did that cost you?
He got money. Look at the vineyard.
Well, he's an ambassador in the books, right?
For faith in us.
He's still upset that Kirk passed on his watch.
That's not
Look, I tell you called it the vineyard. Look at him.
Of course, it's a vineyard.
Picard, the
What does it
best
say?
wine ever. Picard. Admiral Picard?
Yeah. Okay.
It's a teaser.
This is not a trailer. This is a teaser.
They tricked us.
Nothing.
The
Zip.
end is
All
always
they
the
show-
beginning.
Admiral. I mean.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So this is gonna be a good one, because his signature Star Trek is Picard, right?
No, it's like one of my signature ones. I love Picard. I thought Picard, loquacious, locutus,
Elocutus.
locutus. But my problem here, let's get back to Picard. The question is, why are we rehashing Picard?
We're not rehashing. We're getting another story post. He's an admiral now, and we're gonna see where he's. And the thing is, I'm
An admiral of what?
of Starfleet.
In the books and in previous shows, he's been noticed as he's been called an ambassador,
Turncoat. Okay,
an ambassador. So as an ambassador, you have different goals. And one thing that we like, I love the whole separation of the role between Picard and his number one was that you had someone who was doing the Kirk stuff, which they didn't do enough of, with him, and they had him who was the more cerebral, the more sit back, the more grand strategy guy. So as the Admiral, it makes perfect sense to have him this way. But, they're not showing us anything. It's, what is this series about? Why do we want to see it? What's the tease? You don't see a tease of him. All you see is his face, and that's it.
Yeah.
And vineyards. So what is he? Are you going to talk about he's making, as an admiral, he's going to be a retired admiral? I assume that's what he is. He's just going to be in his vineyard talking about stories? Is it going to be like what's that, Dark Matter? Is it going to be an anthology where he talks about different things that happen in different stories? That'd be an interesting concept.
Black Mirror?
Black Mirror. That'd be an interesting concept.
I think.
But I don't think that's what it is.
Well, I think I'm going to say this, even though I had my critique of the Next Generation, I think Picard sort of, as Spock and Kirk are sort of and even McCoy are sort of the benchmarks of the original series and what led to the movies.
Don't forget Scotty. Love Scotty.
Well, I mean, yeah, like that cast.
Captain,
But I'm saying, but
we can't do that.
the direction between Kirk and Spock, that's sort of the two ways of reacting to things, and then you throw in a little bit of McCoy as a guy who kind of pushes and prods those guys.
Right.
But with the Next Generation and subsequent series, Picard is actually taking is basically he's the basis on all the other captains. The act that they all say engage, they all they could run the ship without a crew, that sort of thing. Like having a captain that, like Kirk, even though, like the thing is, people say that, William Shatner was taking up too many lines and this, that, and the other. But ultimately, he does listen to what other people say. And Picard a lot of times someone says, hey, Geordi, what if you did this, that, and the other? And they say, yes, that's brilliant, Captain. I think that could do this, that, and they add on what he says. So basically, Picard has been the focal point of every Star Trek, was it Rick Berman? And
Rick Berman, Brandon Braga.
Those guys, he's been the guy, and you can see Picard, not as much in Cisco, but a lot when you see in the Janeway and you see in the Enterprise show.
Yeah.
So ultimately, since he is the guy,
because those ships were moving while Cisco was stationary.
No, I'm saying well, Cisco kind of started like Picard, and then they started to bring out the Hawk in him because they changed his look. They showed that he was kind of tougher than he seemed. And
he was in the middle of a war, galactic war.
No, but I'm saying when he didn't have the mustache, he was just like, okay, we're gonna do the black guy Picard. And then when they cut his hair and they gave him the goatee back, he was like, all right, this guy has a little more edge. And he's like, he can be the Picard, but he can, he has. And there was one episode, I think, when they had everyone's being in sort of like the intoxicated and falling for people, and the guy liked the alien girl with the tattoos, and he comes to Cisco and punches Cisco in the face, and Cisco's like, come on. He's like, you can't do anything. Like, stop it. So, but there's a definitely. I mean, he's the guy for the next generation stuff. So, why wouldn't you want a series with Picard? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, this didn't give us a lot.
Look, all I'm just saying is that
it didn't give us a lot. You're right.
I feel that a lot of shows like to they have a brand and we're gonna extend it as far as we can. The problem we have here, the whole mess with the Star Trek movies. You have movies on different timeline, Kelvin timeline, Discovery. You don't know what is real, what isn't real. Of course, Discovery tried to collapse that this season, so I'm not going to knock that at the moment. The point I'm trying to get to is that we have issues with a lot of these things, and I just find that this is run more on corporate than it's really run more on fans. We do want to see more of the story, and I tend to be a reader, so I tend to read in terms of the books and stuff, and sometimes some of those stories are really good. And you're like, yo, why don't you incorporate some of the stuff in here? But the movies and TV shows are like, we're not going to use that stuff. And I think that that's such a crime. What's the point of getting the readers who truly, the fans who truly like to continue and read and buy continual parts of this space, this world, this universe, and then you say, well, this is all ridiculous. Disney did that with Star Wars, and then you just start doing your own thing. And then when you look at, wait a second, this is how we developed the character for many years. The book sales, of course, it's not going to equate what a movie does. It's not going to equate what a TV show does. But this is where the loyalty of the fans go on for years on years, just trying to develop these particular characters that you like, and then you just discard that. And that's my biggest problem with this, is that if you really want to give the fans what you want, and I got to say the same thing goes with Game of Thrones, and I'm just going to throw this little dig in there, where you expect one thing with the character, and you buy IP based on that, and then all of a sudden at the very end you find it just totally different. Probably if the same thing with Star Trek, if they were better able to lead the fandom to a particular way, that would be one thing. But when you don't give any ideas and then you spring stuff on people, you're like, yo, what the hell? Why did I invest my time, my effort to get into this?
You're a fan of Picard, right?
I'm a fan of Picard, and getting all the way back, the point of this is, I don't know what the point of this is. You know what I'm trying to say? Why is Picard here?
He makes a good wine.
What about
he makes a good cab?
No, but I'm saying
he makes a good cab, right? We can say that.
I'm saying right. I'm saying why not number one? I've been dying to see a number one show.
Because he's directing. He doesn't want to be.
Forget about number one. But then what about?
He doesn't want to be Captain Kirk. Right. He never wanted to be him.
Okay. Geordie's engineer show. You're not necessarily going to see him there. But even Deanna Troi, who is the counselor. What about a show based on her? What about a show based on
You are totally right.
This is what I'm trying to say.
They tested the waters with Discovery and new characters when they could have just gave us a number one on Discovery. Like they could have gave us a number one show in the past with her and play that out and say, oh, it's number one before she got to the Enterprise.
Me and a friend of mine worked on a book with Sulu. You know, when we were trying to develop something like that. And I think those are characters. Why always Kirk? Why not one of the other characters? Because you know what happens?
No, it could have done a totally
to-
different Excelsior. That's
right.
a good name.
So I'm saying when you have these other characters, develop them. You know,
Yeah.
and this is the same thing you have in different universes, the Marvel universe and the Harry Potter universe, whatever. You have other minor characters that are there, but you know, you figure, oh well, we don't need them. Let's get
Well,
a new
you know
one.
why?
Bring in a new character. Why not use get the character and then explore that particular character and say, hey, there's more to this character than meets the eye. This character is ambitious. You know what I'm trying to say? Everybody who starts off on a naval ship, you know, officers that is, you know, their end goal is to become a captain, right? So what happens? You go through different roles. You go through tactical communications, you know, until you hit that particular level, and that's it. And then you become a captain. And everybody there who's sitting, when you see them sitting in front of that thing, even the guy in the red shirt who we know is going to die, you know, he says, hey, you know, I'm going to probably become, well, I guess, head of security.
Scotty had a red shirt and he didn't die.